Welcome to another episode of the Eternal Athletes Podcast. Ryan and Erin Klein here. We're here to empower athletes to glorify Christ with their game and pursue a life with Him for eternity. So excited to bring another episode to you. Before we get going too deep into everything, you might hear, if you're a regular listener, you might hear a little change in voice and tone from my beautiful bride by my side. We were at a little game over the weekend. Shows her passion for sports and everything. So if a regular listener, I promise you, Erin is A-okay. But if you notice her voice being a little bit different. But anyways, to the main event here, we got a super special guest here on the podcast. He's a sophomore at Liberty University, played professional hockey. Now he's playing hockey at Liberty University. He's a right wing, which was my favorite position. I don't know a ton about hockey, but it was always my favorite position whenever I played like the video games and stuff growing up. They could get that slap shot, going pretty good into the goal there. So Hayden DeMars, welcome to the Eternal Athletes Podcast.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
Were you cringing when he's just talking about what he knows about hockey?
No, I think he killed it.
I gotta show off a lip, try to
that's
cool.
Not right at all.
No, he did a great job.
All right.
I'm cool. I know some things.
Yeah, he knows a few things. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks, Hayden. Thanks for taking time. I know, you'd mentioned over this weekend, you get home from hockey games sometimes at 5 a.m., and I know it's a long season and a taxing season, and you're a student. So we appreciate you carving out time to chat with us today to kind of share your love of sports and your love for Christ with us and share that with other athletes.
Yes, of course. I'm super excited. So thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So let's start off with, or did you have a, sorry.
You
okay.
Go right in.
Well, no, I just kind of like to start off with, obviously, Hayden grew up in Minnesota. So, I mean, that makes sense. Hockey, right? That's just you're born into it. I feel like you come out with ice skates on, I'm sure.
It's go to school, go on the outdoor rinks, then go to practice, sleep, do the same thing all over again.
Awesome. So this is something you've started at a young kid. And I'm curious too, obviously you grow up, playing hockey young, but also, we're here to talk about faith as well too. So
Yes.
Can you just kind of tell us, as we go through your journey of starting off playing hockey, I'm sure you played other sports too, growing up as well before kind of focusing in on hockey, but where was your faith life, I guess, from the start? Did you grow up kind of going to church and being active in your faith, or is that something that developed later on in life?
Yeah, so I grew up always going to church. Every Sunday I had to be there. It was kind of a non-negotiable. But it wasn't really till I was a little bit older, which we can kind of speak on, when I really started taking my faith seriously. But I think I'd like to call it, I was kind of just lukewarm in my faith journey when I was growing up. I was kind of prioritizing sports, social things kind of more than my faith. So that's kind of how it was growing up and through my high school years.
Yeah, kind of like a checklist. I hate to use that point of reference, but going through the motions checklist. All right, Sunday, got it.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
100%. Yeah.
And that's
Common.
pretty common, in a lot of ways, especially growing up. You got especially when you're kind of being told, to do it and stuff. And we know obviously it's a good thing to do, and builds character in a lot of ways. But a lot of times, I don't know. I just feel like we haven't needed to rely on our faith a lot at that point, growing up.
True.
And, it's not until we get to,
Some challenging times.
some, bigger endeavors in life that we're like, hey, maybe this stuff is needed. And,
sometimes it takes to fall on your face a couple times to realize that you need that faith foundation.
Yes.
And that it's not you. You know what I mean? I think sometimes in sports we're like, oh, look how amazing I am because I can work hard and I can set my alarm clock up and I can work harder than other people. And then you realize, no, this is the Lord that's empowering me
Yeah.
to do
That's
these
a
things.
big one.
So when you were,
Just go ahead.
I was gonna say too, because I think that's a good point too. Obviously you're a very gifted athlete. You're playing, at Liberty University, and you played previously in other leagues as well. Was hockey something that came easy for you, or did you kind of have to put a lot more work in maybe than others? Or
No, I wouldn't consider myself like a natural hockey player. Like I've always been an athlete. I played soccer, baseball. Like I tried it all, just like most kids when they're younger.
Yeah.
But I think it's just being around hockey so much, especially in a hockey center town. It
Mm-hmm.
was just like it's just a normal thing to do, you know? Like in the summers, we work out, skate, like it was just like it's what we
Yeah.
did. So I
Okay.
wouldn't say like I had to work extra hard. It was just like that was the bare minimum was like
Mhm.
try to do everything you can to be the best at
Love that.
your ability. So I'd
Yeah.
say no, I wouldn't say it came easily, but I'd say I just always loved playing and I always wanted to play at the highest level I could compete at.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Love that.
Yeah.
So for those that maybe aren't as familiar with, the hockey trajectory, like,
Yeah.
we were, you're
Yeah.
explaining to us before we, were recording and everything. Do you maybe want to take a quick, to someone that doesn't, quite understand how the hockey world works, your 2-year exodus, if you will,
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
kind of navigating, Minnesota, going down to Texas. I know, like you're saying, finding
Yeah.
your way to Liberty. So, and then maybe your mindset during that time, how
Mhm.
much faith, impacted your decisions, perhaps, in those 2
Yes.
years before you found, your time at Liberty.
Yes, I'd love to. So, just to start off, if you want to play college hockey, normally we just call it juniors, where it's a 60 game full season. I like to say you're technically a professional athlete, but it's not professional sports, but you're practicing 5 days a week, playing 2 games on the weekend, traveling on the road for 60 games. Like it's a long season. You don't have school or anything. You are there to play hockey. So that's those 2 to 3 years that you do play until you're 21 age out year. That's when you try to earn a scholarship, try to get recruited. So unlike football or basketball where you come in as a true freshman, hockey is usually it's like a typical joke where it's like I'm a 21-year-old freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Yeah.
like my freshman class, we were all 21,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm sitting in a class with 17 and 18-year olds in a
Yeah.
English 101 class. But
Yeah.
you gotta love it. But
Yeah.
so yes, I started in Minnesota. Um, it was pretty it was a challenging year for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Like, I wasn't super in deep with my faith yet.
Mhm.
A lot of adversities. I had multiple injuries, concussions, just battling injuries, and I'm like I just wanna play hockey, I wanna
Yeah.
earn that scholarship, and I'm just like, why is this not working? Like, I'm here to play hockey, and, like, I can't even play hockey. So, like, I was honestly, like I went down a really deep pit. Like,
Yeah.
I was depressed, like, I'd go to the rink, watch practice, and then go home and do nothing. Or like we say at billet families. So you actually stay with a billet family. So you're at a house, like you pay them whatever a month and you just stay there. Usually you have a roommate on the team. So
Mm.
spend a lot of time at the billet house. But that, like I said, that first year was like really challenging. And that's when I kind of decided like I didn't know where else to go but
Mhm.
God. Like if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Like I felt like everything, like nothing I could control. And so that first year was like really when I decided to go in deep with my faith. And ever since then, I'm not going to say it got easier because being a Christian is not
Right.
easy, but going through hard times and challenging times, it makes it easier having that kind of faith or having a relationship with him. So, I got traded to West Texas and I was like debating like, should I even keep playing? Should I hang him up? Like I've never I've never been out of Minnesota basically. So, but I trusted God. I believe he had a plan for me. So I went down to West Texas and it was the best time ever. Like my faith just our team had group Bible studies every
Mhm.
week, which I was never, I never incorporated my faith with hockey.
Mm.
So that was just eye opening to me that I got to kind of share my faith with my teammates, people my age, and went throughout the season, had a good season, and got recruited by Liberty. And now I'm here.
That is awesome.
It,
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Do you ever think about quitting year one? Up in Minnesota when all those I mean, maybe, maybe not. I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, no, I wouldn't say I wanted to quit. Like there's times where I'm just like, yeah, I want to quit, but there wasn't ever like a real discussion
Okay.
about, you know what, I just want to hang them up and just go to school. Like that never was
Yeah.
an option for me. And I don't think my parents would allow that
Mhm.
either. So
Yeah.
they
Okay.
yeah.
So it wasn't yeah, so more so Texas, right? Was it like a coach, a few just players, or was the culture almost established on the team already down in Odessa, in Texas
I'm
where you
gonna be honest, it was a great atmosphere, like coaching, everything was great, but really it was just like my mindset
Okay.
and what my faith that drove me. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna let any outside things, playing time, coaches like affect my
Yeah.
attitude. And I'm just gonna work like just keep my head to the ground
Yeah.
and keep going and pursue through basically.
wow.
How much do you think, maybe, had to do with, like, kinda burning the boats or burning the bridge, so to
Yeah.
speak? Because 'Cause you're down in Texas now, you're ways
Yeah.
away from home. I mean, was it
Yeah.
kind of a sink or swim, like, "All right, you know, gotta
Yeah.
gotta make it work too," so
No, basically, because I was only playing an hour from my house in Minnesota, so it was awesome. Like I could go home on the weekends. Like it was like the comfortable setting, and
Yeah.
you don't grow if you just
Mhm.
stay comfortable and consistent. And I think I just like flipped that switch of like putting myself in an uncomfortable environment, and I was like, you just got to go and do it,
yeah.
and it was the best decision I made.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
kind of the tides turned down at, in Texas and everything, and,
Yeah.
God bless
all
Texas,
that,
you know?
and
God
I'm sure
bless. Yeah.
I'm sure that's helped you, through injuries. I don't know, did the same negative events maybe happen down in Texas? You just maybe had a better faith foundation or mindset to work through them, or, what did that
Yeah,
look like?
I definitely didn't battle the injury part of it. Like that was relieving not getting hurt.
Mhm.
But no, it was really just I think it was just a mindset
Yeah.
switch for me, and it was just like trying to not let outside things and only control what I can control, right? Like
Mhm.
your coaches tell you all the time, but you don't really I just didn't really understand it, and it was like the only thing I can control is my attitude and my effort. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna do.
I will say when you said that, like, my ears perked up too, because I think as, former coaches, when you hear
Yeah.
somebody say, "I'm not gonna worry about playing time or this and
Yeah.
just focus," I'm like, "That's it. That's what you need to do and
Exact
what you need to
Yeah.
focus on," and I think too, when you say, like, it's just that mindset switch, right? Where it makes it
Mhm.
sound like maybe to an outside person, like that could be so simple, right? Like, oh, you just switch
Yeah.
your mindset. You just switch your mindset. But and it is that simple, but it takes that work to get there, right? Like not losing your
Yeah.
faith and continuing to stay in the word until something does click and then you do see that in a different
Mhm.
way. Do you know what I mean? And um
Yeah. 100%. And I wish that mindset would have
yeah.
clicked or whatnot halfway through my first year,
Yeah.
but
But it did when it was supposed
it's
to.
it's
Right.
it's God's exact like
Mm.
your God's timing is always gonna be over your timing. Like his timing's perfect. So
Like, did
um
you imagine you'd be at Liberty University, for
no.
example? Like, you know what I
No,
mean? So
I
it's
and yeah, I talked to a lot of my teammates about this, and none of us ever thought we would be here, and we wouldn't change a single thing. Like
yeah.
we just from the faith aspect of what we
Mhm.
get from just
Mhm.
being around a faith-driven community,
Mhm.
it's like it's nothing like it, and it like you said, like God's plan is over
Mhm.
your own plan.
That's awesome, and,
Mhm.
obviously you got, deeper into the word and faith down in
Mhm.
Texas. Did that influence maybe choosing Liberty? Or
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
recruited a few other places and you're just like, "Look, Liberty looks awesome,
Yeah,
like the faith
yeah.
side."
No, that definitely was a big factor in my decision. I mean,
Mhm,
especially like if it was from my first year, I was trying to decide where I'm going to go. Like, I probably wouldn't have ended up here just because I wasn't so deep with my faith. But
mhm,
since I've been on this journey for the past, I'd say like year of really trying to grow, it was just like a no brainer for me.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, it was just a no brainer.
Excellent.
So I want to get into what campus life is like too. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned how it is also. But before we do, I do want to kind of talk about a hockey question as well because we like to
Okay.
ask this to some of our guests as well because especially hockey is a
Mhm.
brutal sport. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
your competition. So it's like you want to be this faith based center Christ filled man, but then you get out
Mhm.
on that ice and like you want to destroy the other team. So like. We
Yeah.
how does that work, I guess? I just always like hearing competitors' perception of, like, how they view their opponents before, during, after. Like, how does that where does your faith
Yeah.
show up when you wanna just destroy the other team?
No, 100%. Well, especially being at Liberty University, we've kind of been to it's also like a spotlight on it as well, just
Yeah.
being such a big Christian university. It's like our fans and everyone, like, they expect to be like a Christian, right?
Mhm.
Like, so, and like you
Right.
said, in a sport like hockey where it's so physical and like it literally allows us to fight, at
Mhm.
the professional level at least, it's like our coach says like earn your opponent's respect,
Yeah.
like there's like a line where you can go to where it's like if you try to like hurt my teammate, like I'm going to stand up for him,
Sure.
right? Like I'm not saying you have to be like just soft, but as well, don't go over that line
Mm.
and like,
Yeah,
like there's
exactly.
Yeah.
that line where it's like you're competitive, you're resilient, but also don't lose focus of who you are as a person. And
Yeah.
especially being here has completely challenged me in that aspect. Like, I mean, sometimes our coach just like he doesn't even worry about the game. It's like he cares more about our body language, and
Mhm.
like how are we representing ourselves off the ice as well? Like these are all things you should be thinking about as a Christian athlete.
Yeah.
And especially if we want to pray with the other team at the end of the game, like if you're just going to cheap shot their whole team and you know what I mean?
And then
And then like
pray.
just
Yeah.
ask them to pray with you after is
Yeah,
like, but there's also the point of being a competitor as well.
Right.
And it's just like there's a line where we just try not to cross, but just get to that point.
right.
I think that was a perfect answer. That was, but it is because you wanna be
Nice.
competitive and you wanna be resilient, but and I
Mm.
like that you mentioned being in that university and obviously what your coaches tell
Yeah.
you ahead of time because it does make you I think in sports, we can be so reactive so quickly,
Yeah.
and then being there probably is ingraining more in your minds to think first,
Mhm.
to think before.
Yeah. And even just being an athlete growing up, like you kind of make it your whole life.
Mhm.
And especially going into my faith and being here, you realize like there's more to life than just sports. Like I
Mhm.
know if you're a high school athlete and you're trying to get whatever sport you're in, you're trying to get that scholarship, like it seems like your whole life is like riding upon how you're playing or whatnot. And it's just that's just not reality.
Yep.
Like so that's been just a big part for me is like we're just not make it your whole life,
Yeah.
basically.
And how do you think, so transitioning more, from Texas to Liberty, of course,
Mhm.
now, um, how do you think, is there like similar Bible studies with the team or what's faith look like now that you're at Liberty, to like plug into, a group of teammates, that you have,
Mhm.
coaches, what's that look like being a Christian athlete, at Liberty and what maybe resources do they give you, um,
Yeah, 100
to
yeah. Um, I'd say the one thing for me was like a big one is like usually I thought praying is just like in your room in the morning at night like but really like you can pray whenever like you can talk to him whenever so that really opened my eyes coming to Liberty University. For example, like we have prayer groups like every Monday after our team meeting we watch film and we have a group of like 5 guys and we go off to our groups and we pray together before practice, like it's a
Nice.
quick 1 or 2 minutes, but it's like before practice as well. We pray together. After practice, we pray together. Before every meal, we pray. It's just like having that faith and having that relationship with them just normalized is the biggest thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is so cool. And that like,
Yeah.
doing that consistently and not just like once a month or whatever, that just has
Yeah.
to like I can see that just mindset and obviously honoring and worshiping Jesus and stuff, but just the
Yeah.
subconscious like I don't know, uplifting feeling that you would kind
Mhm.
of keep constant throughout the day, and not just be like super into your faith in the morning, right? Like you're literally like, I don't want to say spreading it out all day, but you're just intertwining, and integrating literally faith with sports, right? Praying
Yeah.
before practice, after, before meals and everything. Absolutely awesome. What about during a game competition? I mean, it's
Yeah.
very hard, right, to like keep an
Mhm.
eye on a puck and like
Yeah.
kneel down and do the sign of the cross, whatever, at the same time, right? So,
Yep.
maybe
Yeah.
during a game, what's that look like, if anything, right? Because I know you
Yeah.
got to stay focused, right? But
100 no, yeah, 100%.
what's it look like during a game?
We tried I mean, as a team, we just try to hold each other accountable,
Sure.
Obviously, our coaches do a good job at it, but if we go after a game, we're just like, "Guys, our energy's terrible." Like, if guys are, you know just down about their playing time or whatever, it's like we come together as a group and be like, we need to refocus here. Like, what
Mhm.
are we doing? You know? So it's just like I think it's before the game as well, just prepping yourself, knowing like you're gonna be like fully in the moment. Just like don't forget about your faith. You know what I mean? Just like having that just happy medium of not
Yeah,
getting too high or too low.
absolutely. Love that. And that's something I, kind of remember doing, when I was playing and stuff too. It's
Yeah.
just like just offering it up to the Lord. Like I'm sure you do it like in your pregame prayer, for example.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, geez, I won't be able to like say a prayer for the next 60 minutes here, like
Yeah.
maybe sprinkling prayers throughout or whatever, but just offering up, the time to Jesus and just, just be like,
Yeah.
I dedicate this to you. I mean, and a lot of times, is prayer enough? And then, it obviously reflects on how you play, how you treat the other team and, your teammates, and just
Yeah.
become the best you can be on the ice in this day.
Yeah. I definitely need to do it more. I'm far from perfect, but I do try when I do get super overwhelmed and super just angry and like just letting my emotions get the best of me. I try
Yeah.
to recenter and like just ask him for like a sense of peace but no, that's a good way to do it as well.
Totally, totally get it, dude. And you're a human being. We're
Yeah.
human. Everyone,
Yeah.
like
No,
everyone,
yeah,
needs to
we're not
improve.
perfect.
I was
So
just gonna say that, like, I appreciate you sharing that too, because like there's no
mhm.
perfect Christian athlete out there, because you do get
Yeah, like
angry
that's
and you do get
yeah.
frustrated, and
Dude,
it's
yeah,
just that
It's
awareness
very
of at least.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier just talking like this and you know what I mean? But no, every day I face struggles, I
dude.
face
Mhm,
challenges. I think I'm not good enough. Like it's
mhm.
it's just as long as you're trying to trend upwards, that's all that matters.
So when you have those, well, just because you said that, when you have those thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, right? Because
Mhm.
again, I love you sharing that, because a lot of athletes probably do have those thoughts and maybe don't share it
Mhm.
because you're challenged every day. You're going against very, I don't know, like very great competition that you're playing
Yeah.
with and playing against. So when you catch yourself in those moments, is there something that you do where like you catch yourself thinking that, right? Like standing guard of our mind and we notice that and we take that thought captive. Do you have something that you personally do? Like, okay, like I notice I'm thinking that way. I need to maybe go read a certain Bible verse I like to go read when I'm feeling this way, or talk to a certain person when I'm having that thought. And I know I understand it could just be a 5-second thought. So maybe it just
Yeah.
you just go away with it, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying if it does get deeper than that.
No, yeah. So I usually just like after a game or whatever, if like did I give my effort? Like, was I a good teammate? Was I a good opponent? And I answer those 3 questions, and then I let, like, the game or whatever sting for an hour or so, but then
Yeah.
after that, I try to completely, like, just shut it off, and
Yep.
if it's still bothering me, just spend some time in my room in prayer and, just try to refocus myself. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, God doesn't he doesn't tr like, he cares, but it's just a game,
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, I get the ability to play the game I love no matter what. Like if I win or lose,
Yep.
um, there's so much more things that could be happening in this world, and yeah, you just gotta remember like how lucky you are to play the sport you
Yeah,
love.
that
A-
perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The gratitude, absolutely. So I got a, I don't know if you want to call it a fun question, but just a,
All right.
curious question of like, the penalty box,
Yeah.
right, in hockey, right? Was that one of the more humbling
Have
times?
you been in a penalty box?
Yeah.
Explain that, share the penalty box, what it's like, how humbling it is, your mindset in there, and maybe how you could encourage other
I
hockey
forgot about
players.
the penalty box.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna lie, it's a terrible feeling. Like you put your team at a disadvantage, put it on they have to kill off a power play because we don't have a guy on the ice, so it's a 4-on-5, and it's just like you're praying that they don't score, like yeah, it's not a good feeling. It's very humbling. But no, there's some fun times too. Like there's been times where team has had like 6 guys in the box, and
Oh
it's
my
just like,
God.
and the other team has 7. Like yeah,
How
but
big is this box?
it's not very big. So you can imagine 6 full-grown men in hockey gear
Yeah.
trying to fit into it. But no, 99% of the time, it's not fun. It's a very humble experience.
It almost feels like, I don't want to say a confession or a forgiveness thing,
Yeah,
where it's
literally.
just like, "All right, I messed up, like,
Yeah,
start over," right?
We change it
yeah.
to a confessional box now.
Literally, like,
Confession
it
box.
might as well be. No,
Yeah.
that's
No,
hilarious.
that's funny. I mean, that's like, that's, I'm thinking of it, one of the better analogies for, like, beginning anew, right?
You're coming out of that box a new person.
Right.
That's
Uh,
fun. Good
um,
memory on the penalty box. Forgot
I
about that.
remember that. I
Yeah.
was in there playing the video games. All
Listen,
that.
I know nothing about hockey. I just
Yeah.
think I feel like you're playing like 5 different sports at once when you're playing hockey because ice skating in and
It's
of
feels
itself is,
like it.
yeah,
I
like,
know. It's, yeah, I don't it's definitely yeah, it's a unique sport, to say the least.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So I got some, questions maybe about, successes you've had in hockey and, or failures, right? Is there like, a game you've really wanted to win, that you didn't win? I don't know. How have you guys maybe
Probably all of them, huh?
how have you relied on your faith maybe at another down the penalty box aside, right? How have you maybe applied your faith during those other times?
So, a good example so,
Yep.
I don't I don't know if you're familiar with, but for Minnesota high school state hockey, there's a state tournament every year, and it's like you think it's like the state fair. I mean, we go to the Xcel Energy Center, it's filled to the brim, it's like it's on live television, it's
Wow.
like the biggest thing in Minnesota, and our team made it to the section finals every year to go to the tournament, and we lost every game to the same team for my 3 years of my high school career. And in that moment, I literally felt like that was the biggest loss of my life. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up with all my teammates. We just grew up watching our team going to the state tournament. We missed school Wednesday through Friday to go down, go to St. Paul, watch these games. Like, I mean, this was our like Super Bowl.
Life.
Yeah.
And after that senior year, losing in the section finals, it like was heartbreaking. And I think from where I am now, it's just a reminder, like, you get through it and everything's okay. Like, I'm here, I'm in one piece, I'm healthy. Like, you just can't let your losses define you that much, and you gotta just move on from it and try to get the next win.
Ab
Yeah.
Absolutely,
That is a good
absolutely. That'd
example
be
because
th
my heart hurt hearing that. I'm like, oh man.
every year.
Yeah,
That's gotta yeah, it's obviously gotta be
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah,
Um, so, favorite Bible verse and everything now, if you wanna get to I don't know if we had a guess, I know your Insta bio,
yeah.
has the Psalms,
I
20
know. Yeah, Psalms 23. I was literally gonna say that
Yeah,
because that verse spoke to me when I fell straight on my face and turned to him. It was like the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Like, I used to be super worried about the future, like everything is in my control. Like, I need to figure out my next 10-year life plan. Like, I had everything set out, and that was just a reminder to me that like he's my shepherd, like I'm his herd, like I'm his sheep. He will guide me, and just
Yeah.
have faith in him and follow him even though you don't know where he's leading you, right?
mhm.
Mhm.
So I would have to say that one resonates with me the most.
I love
That
that.
has to because of you're kind of the exodus again of like
Yeah.
from Minnesota to Texas to Liberty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such like a I don't call it a a gray area time, but yeah, you literally that perfectly explains your reliance on Jesus and just needing to like obviously trust in the Lord and
Mhm.
whatever He wants for your life,
Yeah.
not what you want and stuff. So um,
I feel like you should take some requests though sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
good.
I
Have a
agree.
suggestion box or something. But,
That'd be
You
nice.
absolutely
um,
could. No, I love that verse.
Mm.
So you're at Liberty now. If you
Mhm.
don't, unless you had a follow up.
no.
No, okay. You're at Liberty now. How would you? So we talked about campus life,
Mhm.
and everything. How would you say you've seen sports impact the campus? Have you seen kind of Christian athletes, evangelizing? What does that look like, maybe as a greater whole at Liberty, and how do you like being a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it super easy, obviously, being here. We have convos. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're every Wednesday and Friday. We have a guest speaker come and speak, and it's just filled up to the brim. And we do like a prayer before, and then we have a guest speaker. And with events like that, and then we also just have like Bible studies, like even some kids are like reading the Bible, like just out on our campus with like a microphone. Like
Oh,
I've
that's
seen a
awesome.
couple times.
Really?
Yeah, like it really is just spread all across the campus. And like like their slogan is building champions for Christ. And that is literally like in every building you walk in. So like it's kind of hard not to kind of be thinking about that.
Yeah,
So I mean the university makes it pretty easy to
that is so cool.
grow your faith.
Yeah.
That is cool. Go ahead.
No, so I have a question about that too because I'm sure, you're a college, you
Mhm.
got friends that go to different colleges, I imagine,
Yes.
and you go to
Yeah.
those campuses. Are you just like, "Whoa, this is different?"
Yeah, no, I know that it is kinda like I like to say, like, I'm in my own bubble, like,
Yeah,
it
I
Mhm.
was
just
just gonna
feels like
say.
different like, my teammates and I, we talk to each other about, like, going back home for the summer, it's just, like, so different because you realize, like, it's okay, but, like, it's not like, you're not just around Christians, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it definitely you definitely forget how lucky you are when
yeah.
you go back home.
Is there, now obviously, it's a very Christian university. I mean, are there still times you don't have to, like, name names or anyone, but, like, individuals you maybe come across that maybe are a little bit more secular,
Yeah.
pagan, atheist? I mean, have I don't know, have you seen athletes or, students help try to evangelize or maybe seen students come into, Christianity and stuff that
Yeah.
maybe otherwise wouldn't have?
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. Like I know one of our teammates, I was on the team, but even one of our teammates, um they go to Finland for a like retreat every 2 years, and like 3 guys got baptized on the
Ah,
trip cuz
Oh.
they weren't believers before. I mean, even though we're Liberty University, like we still want good hockey players.
of
So like
course.
you know what I mean? They know like what liberty is and everything, but like we don't like push it on them or anything, but like they come in prayers with us, and like we obviously as our parts as Christians, like we try to have conversations with them and spark conversations and pick their brains. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's guys on the team, but we're reminded that everyone's on their own spiritual
Yeah.
journey,
Yeah.
and that time will come in
Yeah.
God's plan for them.
Yes. I feel like we always wanna
We
say
always
so.
wanna say things at the same time,
Yeah.
but no, I was thinking I do love that, that's beautiful because I think sometimes it is well-intending Christians kind of push
Yeah.
people further off the path sometimes
Yes.
because they wanna get right in their face
100%.
and everything, where
Yeah.
I think if you just have those conversations and just trust that, like, you say it's who's that quote where it's like, "Preach the gospel often and only use words when necessary."
I think St. Augustine.
Yeah.
So kind of that where
Yeah.
it's like, you don't always have to say it and be in their face, but just and that's why I love about sports so much, especially what it sounds like you have on your hockey culture or culture with your hockey team, with your coach, is it's teaching how to be amazing, great people and young Christian men and be leaders. And that if person's on that team that isn't in their faith right now, they'll get there eventually just by being
Yeah.
around it. They don't need to they don't even necessarily need the words. They'll just see it and understand,
They'll
you know?
see it,
Yeah.
live out the gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actions speak louder than
Yeah.
words. So
100.
like you said, if you're living it, like it will come.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned at the beginning when we first started recording how it's easier said than done, right? To be a Christian, right?
Yeah,
It's
very
one
much.
thing,
Yeah.
and to
Yes.
preach the gospel, but to live the gospel, that's
Hard.
A whole nother story.
that's
Yeah.
against a lot of like natural human inclinations and
Yep.
tendencies and stuff, is to deny yourself and obviously
Mhm.
do what we do, put others first and everything. So love
Yeah.
that. I don't know, kind of want to dive into like obviously outside, Liberty University. If you want to, I know you mentioned a little bit, maybe going home is different, getting outside your bubble is a little bit different. I don't know. Can you talk about that a little bit more? How, um, I don't know, you try to just, share your faith outside of Liberty, maybe any situations you've had that, um, if you visit, other colleges or whatever, where you've
Mhm.
maybe, helped people to Christ, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is just like it's a lot different, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, we don't like, just your habits change, like,
Mhm.
you start prioritizing different things. You kinda forget about worldly things, like, just like how God intended it, is to, like, not focus on worldly things and focus on Him. So, we actually had a Bible study, on the road when we went to Niagara last week, and our group was talking about, like, how hard it is, I mean, how easy it is to fall into old habits when we go back home, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I go back to my house, like, where I grew up, those old habits just start naturally, like, slipping in, like, you might start, like, I don't know, swearing more or, like, falling into those old habits,
Mhm. Yep.
and yeah, it's just we were just talking about, like, how can we, like, prevent that, and that's just staying consistent and not, like, open your eyes to those
Yep.
worldly things.
People don't like it when you change too, especially if it's maybe a hometown friend, if you will. Maybe you've grown, bettered yourself, maybe start thinking of things above this world and they haven't. There's that whole gap, right?
Mhm.
They're maybe going to try to pull you back down to,
Yeah,
perhaps to their level, right? So yeah, overcoming that, and that's where being grounded in faith and that daily prayer, kind of keeping that consistent throughout the day, asking
yeah,
for strength, what to say. It's hard to like have the perfect thing to say at the perfect time and
yeah,
explain it perfectly to that person that's maybe wondering about your faith. But obviously we can do the best we can to keep praying throughout the day, ask for
y
strength for
yeah,
that. So
and all you can do is just ask for him to speak through you, because at the end of the
absolutely.
day, that's all you need, so you just do your best,
Yeah, Lord, not my words, but your words.
Yeah.
Yeah, speak through me, Lord. Absolutely.
Is
Mhm.
that fun when you hear yourself say things sometimes and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, was that
no.
me?
Yeah, I
Was that the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit?
Lord.
Um, so love that. So what's next for you at Liberty? So you're a sophomore there. What's the
Mm.
season looking like?
When do we go
Training?
pro?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
next for you?
Yeah, it's still early in the season. We got about 20, 25 games left.
Okay.
So I'm just, it gets to be a long season. It's a grind, but I'm looking forward to, like I said, we're going to Finland this year. So we're going to do a retreat there and we do some things with a church every year.
Yeah.
So I'm super pumped to go. So that's definitely on my radar. And then, just trying to grow my relationship with him because
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So,
You're right.
yeah.
Now I feel bad throwing the pro thing in because you're doing the right thing. Stay in the moment, stay where you are.
Yeah,
I get
I'm not,
excited
yeah,
sometimes, but you're right.
yeah,
Like just stay there to do staying
yeah,
grounded and
I know.
we're
Yeah.
excited. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm can we watch Liberty hockey?
Yeah,
Is
no,
it
it's on,
live stream somewhere?
we're on ESPN Plus. So you
Okay.
can, yeah, you
ESPN
can
Plus. I'll
pull us
check out
up
a
on
game.
there.
What number
Yeah.
are you? Who do I look for? Because you guys all look the same out there.
Yeah. 24. So that right
24.
wing.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll try to figure
Yeah.
that out. But we'll check out
There
the
you
game. But
go.
I am excited and I definitely want to thank you so much for what you're doing
Yes.
with just inside like sharing your story, I think is one thing. I think the more we can share stories like this and be more relatable, the more other athlete, you know what I mean, feel that same way and feel more emboldened to share their faith and share their struggles too so that they can grow in their
Mhm.
strength as well. So I'm grateful for people like you, your team, your coaches, like your just everything that's happening. I think is just setting you up for success. I know I've mentioned it before, but I'm a different generation, so I grew up like we didn't really bring faith into our athletic careers at all. We didn't really talk
Yeah.
much about it. And I just think that your generation and where you're at is on such a better path because as you do get older and we face different life challenges as you grow, you get married, children, all this stuff, like life happens. And I think what you're doing right now is just setting you up to handle those so in such a better way than what I was prepared for, right? I mean, we're all growing at
Mhm.
our own different pace, but that's what's important to us. That's why we value these conversations so much and love sharing stories like yours because that can, inspire other college students. And hopefully, we'll have a generation soon that is emboldened for Christ and ready to take on those challenges as they grow through
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
That
you
was
guys for all that you
yeah.
guys do and with Saint
Sure.
Fuel.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's time to bring Christianity into sports.
Yes,
So
it's
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Love
yeah.
that. That was one of them Holy Spirit moments. Like
What?
it's
Yeah.
Oh,
flowing from
was
you.
it?
Yeah.
And my
There you
Yeah.
voice
go.
didn't speak.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
throwing?
No,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Lord.
Yes. Hayden, as we wrap here, I mean, is there anything, we haven't talked about, faith wise, anything, or what maybe message, would you share to a hockey player, any kind of Christian athletes? I mean, if you could leave them with anything to kind of, chew on for the rest of the day, what would you leave them with?
Um,
Just put him
I
on the
think my
spot.
thing would be, yeah, no, putting me on the spot here, but I know I struggled with communicating my faith and kind of expressing it. I was always shy and kind of like kept to myself. So the biggest thing I'd say is like just express it, man.
Mhm.
Like don't be ashamed, like don't be afraid, like because you never know you can meet someone that has the same thing, Like just don't be afraid to share your faith. Like
Yeah.
just be bold.
Absolutely. Be bold. That's boom. I was
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, bold. As you were saying that boldness, that
Yeah.
is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Um, well, very, very cool. Erin, you
I just
good?
said what I
And
needed
you
to say.
okay?
That was
Yeah,
There you
you
go.
ended on a high note there, for
Perfect.
sure. So, yeah, and thank you, listeners. Obviously, Erin, hopefully better.
we don't
Voice
have
wise
any
on next
football
ex.
games planned, so
Yes. Um,
unless I'm watching a Liberty game soon and I'm yelling at
Yeah, there you go. There
Very
you
well,
go.
yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Hayden. Taking time. Know you got, a hectic schedule,
Yeah.
school wise, practice wise, all that. Obviously faith wise too. Getting all that in there. So thank you so much for carving some time out, to squeeze the Eternal Athletes podcast into your schedule. Really think this message is going to hit home for a lot of
such
Christian
a
athletes.
good.
Be super helpful for them and give them, maybe, a nugget, 2 nuggets, 3 nuggets, whatever, a whole
Mhm.
gold bag, right? Of stuff, whatever it is, whatever they need to hear at the right time. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you, listeners. God bless. Have a great day, everyone.